Welcome back. Today we are talking about how I got into film, how I got into wanting to be a female filmmaker. And so I want to tell you a little bit about that story. So it's story time. So it started in 1995. I was 10 years old. Don't try to do the math of what my age is. Like I said, I'm 37, okay? And so when I was 10 years old, I entered the Regency Theater and I auditioned for a role and I didn't get it. My brother got a role and I was put in the back in the chorus. For those who don't know what the chorus is, it's, you don't have any lines and you just sing and blend into the background. And so I was like, it's okay, I'm gonna keep trying out for these different productions. And so I continued to try out for these productions and yeah, I kept being in the chorus. When I was in the 5th grade, when I was in the 6th grade, 7th grade, all the way to the 12th grade, I was always in the chorus. I never had any lines. However, what I didn't realize was happening by consistently going to the theater and not having any lines is that I learned how to become a writer because I observed a lot through osmosis of just observing, the different characters, the dialogue, the protagonist, different aspects of what goes into making a really great story. So I think it was like 2011, they had a playwriting competition and I always wanted to do it. So I entered my play into the playwriting competition and out of the finalists, I came third. I came third out of 3 finalists, and I was super excited about the experience, not about coming third, which was last. But I really enjoyed, having the chance to kind of write my own story. And I would think that even from 2011, that even though it was a play and it was in the theater, I started to kind of promote my characters as if I was promoting like a movie, like
better known as Leslie Clark. Yes, me. COB attendee.
I was taking pictures of those who were a part of the production, and at that time, people who did plays in the Bahamas, a lot of them weren't really taking photos of the characters and putting them on posters and doing like little behind the scenes videos to promote the production. So I was starting very early in marketing it as if it was a film. So fast forward to 2014, I had the opportunity to put this play that I wrote up, like a full stage production. And when I wrote the play, I wrote a montage in the play. So for those who don't know what a montage is, it's that scene that you see in a movie where they show the passing of time. And so it's usually like, oh, they're falling in love, or they're going through a rough journey and you're just seeing the passing of time. And so I wanted to show the passing of time in this production. So we filmed just various scenes that we weren't able to capture on stage. And I remember when we did that, my brother said to me, he was like, you want to make movies. Like, I don't know why you're doing like stage plays, because the whole fact that you have like this 5-minute montage that comes down in the middle of your play, you clearly want to do movies. But I don't think I understood what the formula was to actually create a movie. And when I say the formula of how do you not lose money, like I knew how to make a play. I knew the formula of how to make money from a play. I didn't know how to make money, or to not lose money, I should say, from a film. And so I said, I'm going to stick with plays because I know that formula. So I did that, and a lot of people saw it. And I remember there was a politician at the time that came and watched it, and he was like, oh, this is so good. Like, Tyler Perry needs to see this. This can be a movie. Well, friends, all you have to tell me is that this could be a movie. I'm like, yes, this could be a movie. And funny enough, that same year, I met a Hollywood executive, and I was just like, I'm about to pitch my movie to him. So I met him, I pitched it. He was just like, okay, that's cute. He didn't really buy it at the time, but I was like, I'm gonna keep in contact because he's gonna buy it someday, who knows. So fast forward to I went on a private job, lost that job, and I was like, what am I gonna do with my life? It was like 2016 by this time. I still only had this one production that I ever wrote. It was like the beginning of 2016. I lost my job. I was very interested in learning more about film, and so I was just like, I'm gonna go to the New York Film Academy in LA to be in Hollywood, and I'm gonna study screenwriting, because the play that I did, it was just a huge success. It was the biggest play that we've ever done in terms of the amount of audience that came to see it. And I was like, okay, I want to go to Hollywood. I can reconnect with this Hollywood executive. I can, learn how to write a screenplay professionally, and then doors are gonna open for me. So I do the screenwriting course. After that, I schedule a meeting with the Hollywood executive. He says yes, so I'm on Sony Studios meeting with him after the course is finished, and I'm just like, movie about to get made. Guys, I have one play at this time, but I'm just like, I'm gonna turn this script into a movie, and then I'm gonna blow up. That's what it's gonna be. So I have this meeting with the Hollywood executive. Friends, he looks at me and he's just like, yeah, like, this is cute, and I took this meeting because you came all the way from the Bahamas, but I'm not about to make a movie out of this. And at the time, friends, I was hurt. I was devastated. I was like, this was my big break. And in my mind, I'm not realizing, like, you literally have one script. Like, you're a one-trick pony. You literally don't have anything else. And you're not known. Like, you're this girl from the Bahamas. Like, yeah, people in the Bahamas came to watch the play, no? I'm next Halle Berry, no? He's like, no. So he gave me this book on screenwriting and was just like, I just wanted to encourage you to, keep doing what you got to do. Friends, your girl was hurt. And so I came back home, to me, thinking that I was only going to come home for a few months and then find more money to go back to the New York Film Academy to do more courses in film. But the Lord had other plans. And I just felt like God told me, like, to stay home in Grand Bahama, in the Bahamas, and I was crushed. Y'all, I was crushed. It was like a year and a half of me just trusting Jesus and doing some odd jobs. So like in 2017, I got this internship in the US for 6 weeks. It was like a fellowship or something like that. And they said that you could, write the city you wanted to go to and like the kind of company you wanted to shadow. So I was like, oh yeah. So beginning of 2016, I came back home like summer 2016. So now this is like the end of 2017. So this is like a full year, maybe like a year and a half that's passed. So I'm like, this is my opportunity. This is my opportunity to go back to the US and to shadow somebody in film. Maybe they'll let me shadow, I don't know, Tyler Perry, Will Packer, who knows, friends. And I'm like, I put like, I want to go to Atlanta, I want to go to LA, all these things I'm writing on my sheet. Friends, they sent me to Dallas. I'm like, who making movies in Dallas? Like, why you send me to Dallas? I'm like, okay, be grateful, open mind, because it was an all expense paid fellowship. So I go to Dallas, and the lady who's in charge of me is like, I really don't have anywhere to, like, for you to shadow. There are people who do like marketing and media, and I was like, why? I was like, what kind of program? So she sends me, like, I have like, everybody has one person that they shadow for 4 weeks. I had 4 different people, and none of them are making movies. Like, one of them is in like marketing, the other one is in like, infomercials. It was she tried. Like, I think she got me to go to a film festival when I was there, and there was this one guy that she did want to be my mentor. And I met with him for one weekend. I think it was 2 days in Oklahoma, and we were on a real movie set. And even though he wasn't like my full mentor for the full 4 weeks, even though like my whole experience of what I was expecting when I went there to be like shadowing some big Hollywood producer did not happen, I was super grateful to shadow him because I had never been on a real movie set. And so there were a lot of things that, again, I was able to learn by osmosis, because exposure helps you to learn a lot of stuff. So that was great. So after 2017, I came home and I opened my company, and it was Island Dreams Management and Island Dreams Productions. So the management side focused on the marketing. So after shadowing for 4 weeks, working professionals in Dallas who weren't pursuing careers in film because they didn't see any money in it, and they were focusing more on the marketing side, corporate companies, I'm like, well, if they're in Dallas in the US and they don't see any way to make money from film, I'm not going to try to do it in the Bahamas. So I just started to write other plays as, something that I would do on the side to just continue to hone in on my craft of being a playwright. And I was just gonna kind of put the film thing on the side. So in 2016 I wrote a play, in 2017 I wrote a play, in 2018 I wrote a play. But in 2018, the same organization that gave the fellowship was giving grant money away to do a project. So I was like, oh, I can do a film with their money. So I got my mentor that was with, one of my mentors that was with me in 2017. I brought him to the Bahamas in 2018 and we shot my first film. So 2018 is when I shot my first film. It was a documentary. It was called License to Create. And so it was a documentary that featured full-time creative professionals in the Bahamas and just basically their journey, their unconventional path of how they got there. The trailer is on YouTube on our Island Dreams Productions page, but the actual documentary is still being entered into film festivals, so it's not on any public domain. But that was a great experience for me because in 2019 we entered it into the Bahamas Film Festival. I was like, okay, there's some movement with this film thing. So my first film, we shot it in 2018. It debuted at a film festival at the end of 2019. And in 2020 was the first time I was hired for a series. It was, I think it was like a 6-episode like comedy series. So I was a writer on that. So that was some more progress with it. And then in 2020, I also got into a Caribbean filmmaking program. And I feel like the program was okay. Like there was a lot of networking. It wasn't the best, but I do appreciate it because even though it wasn't like exactly what I was expecting from a filmmaking program, there were things they taught me. Studio binder was something that I learned during that program that helped me when I did my first like web series project. I feel like some of those things I learned in 2020 was helpful. So in 2021, I wrote my first web series. It's 4 episodes. It's called Easy Love. It's on Island Dreams Productions page. You want to go and check it out. Let us know in the comments what you think about the show. And that I was able to, a lot of information I learned in that filmmaking program, I was able to use because of, you know, going through that process. So in 2021, I wrote, we shot in 5 days. People are always amazed that we shot this in 5 days, but I wrote the script, we shot it in 5 days. There was an amazing team that was with me, and that amazing team that I had was because I grew up in the theater. So my co-writer was someone that I knew from the theater, Nina, who was just super amazing. Our director of photography, Alfred Anderson, he's the one who actually shot my first montage back in 2014. And just, you know, everybody that worked on that project that I met through it was just amazing. And I'm gonna probably do another video on the making of Easy Love and how that whole project came about. So if you want to hear about that, let me know in the comments. But I definitely want to go into detail of what that project was like because it was my first big project. Because like I said, the first film was a documentary and this was the first time of entering into the narrative space. And I think at the time I'm recording this video, we have over 200,000 views on one of the episodes, which is kind of crazy. So I'm definitely going to go and do a deep dive into, you know, how Easy Love came about and what that whole process was like. But after that, that's how I kind of got into film. And so right now I am writing other things to add to my portfolio. I'm building up a portfolio in order for when we do have that big break of meeting someone who wants to see my work, that we have work there. We're also working on season 2 of Easy Love. And so there's so much more things in the work when it comes to film. But another thing is I want to be able to put other Bahamians on, like giving them the opportunity and the platform for them to tell their stories. So that's something else that I'm working on. So that's how I got into film. And if you want to learn more about my filmmaking journey, if you want to deep dive into how to put on plays or what that process was like, just let me know in the comments below. Let me know what stood out to you, and I can't wait to see you next week.